So as you guys read the title, yes, this video is about situations where I had accidentally talked to strangers from America in my Caribbean accent. Now, there were good and bad outcomes of doing that, which I'll get into later on in this video. But first, here is a quick rundown of my background. So I was born in America, then I've moved to the Caribbean, but then I've recently moved back to the US. Since I've lived in the Caribbean for quite a while, of course, I've started developing the accents and shit. Or should I say the Caribbean speech patois. Now, in my experience, when talking to strangers in America, of course there were good and bad outcomes. But first, let's start off with the terrible experience. So one night, I went to the grocery store to pick up an item known as rubbing alcohol. The interaction between the store worker and I went like this. I said, "Hey man, what's up?" He asked, "What are you looking for?" I replied in my Caribbean accent, "Y'all are spirits?" Thinking back, I knew I messed up because in the Caribbean, people usually call rubbing alcohol spirits. Hence why it's normal for me to say that shit. However, that NPC worker was not familiar with my accent, so he was confused as hell as to what I was trying to say. In which he replied, "What? Hey man, just look through the aisles to see if you find whatever you're looking for." I was like, what the f? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that when I'm speaking like an American, I tend to mess up and start talking Caribbean again. So to sum it up, that entire situation was embarrassing and awkward as f, because the person didn't understand what I was trying to say and thought I was tripping. Luckily, no hoes was around, so I'm not that cooked. However, it had a time where I've experienced a great outcome through talking with my Caribbean accent. Let me tell you. So one evening I went to Walmart, right? I saw a little fine shit walk by and I thought, hey, let me just go shoot my shot real quick. Know what I'm saying? She was a snow bunny, you know, Dr. Umar. Don't be mad at me, bro. Gots to do what I gots to do, feel me? So yeah, back to what I was saying. She had on a little designer t-shirt with blue skinny jeans and calm little flip-flops. So yeah, the convo went like this. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She said, "Hi, I'm doing alright." Then my Caribbean accent took over and I asked, "Why you come out and get it?" In translation, I meant, "What items did you pick up?" Now, I just wanted to make some small random talk before I shoot my shot. However, what I said left her confused and she replied, "Huh? What?" Now mind you, I thought I was cooked to the point of making one of the biggest fumbles in history. But then she said, "Wait, that accent, where are you from?" So I told her that I was born in the States but lived in the Caribbean before. She was like, "Oh, that's why. That accent gave it away." And she started giggling and blushing and shit. And you know, I gotta flex some Caribbean culture real quick. So I asked her, "Have you ever tried rice and curry chicken?" And she replied, "No, but I always wanted to try when I go to a Caribbean food spot." And I replied, "Well, you don't gotta go over there now. You can come over to my place and I can cook you some." She was like, Okay, I don't mind, while blushing as fuck. And guys, that's how it went. GG's, bro. I got her Instagram and I don't gotta disclose any more information. So at the end of the day, the hus thought my foreign accent was attractive and unique. And to be honest, I don't mind the glaze, but you know, let the glazers do what they gotta do to fulfill their purpose.